drifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome back. You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, bringing Hollywood home on a budget. And throughout this week, we're saluting our community spirit squad, finding fun ways for you to mingle amongst your community. As I said yesterday, few activities gather community members more than football. So much so, the most honored, passionate, involved community members clear their entire weekend schedules for it. Whether it be varsity football, those Friday night lights, high school football, NFL football on Sundays, or, meeting in the middle, Saturday college football, which is the subject of today's review. In the 60s, a guy named Rudy Ruettiger dreamed of playing for Notre Dame football, aka Notre Dame. It's just a matter of how much you root for them. He lacked the talents, the grades, the skill, and the physical attributes to compete on such a level. Yet in the 70s, he pushed through and persevered, and in the process, gathered an entire community around Notre Dame football and around his life-changing story, which was chronicled in the 1993 film Rudy, of which I have the soundtrack of from the Western Bond Records, composed and conducted by Goldsmith, reuniting him with the writer and director of Hoosiers, who also took on Rudy, Angelo Pizzo and David Anspaugh, respectively. This CD, which runs a little over 36 minutes, was purchased for $1.99 from 2nd Avenue Thrift Superstore in Union, part of the largest haul I ever procured from that place. I also used my coupon to take $25 off the entire haul. So, 36 minutes 44 seconds, 10 tracks. The main title, a start, rating, back on the field, to Notre Dame, tryouts, the key, take us out, the plaque, and the final game. I'm pretty sure you've heard tryouts in many a movie trailer across decades. But the final game was what really made Jerry Goldsmith an acclaimed composer for that decade, not that he already wasn't before, amongst the recording arts musicians who performed this score. Because, as Rudy pointed out, yes, Rudy himself, in the liner notes of this album, it was the final playback and recording of the final cue that earned Jerry Goldsmith the highest compliment that the ensemble could ever give for such a work. It's a compliment that's a little too overdone in overseas film festivals. Yeah, Cannes and Venice. That is, a standing ovation. We don't know if it was the first one ever documented in terms of film score recordings. By the way, you see the bits of black and white and color photography in this pamphlet, including black and white stills from the scoring session at the Tardeo scoring stage, which is now closed. But we do know it was probably Jerry Goldsmith's very first ever for a scoring session, and quite well deserved. These liner notes come from David Anspaugh, director, Rudy Ruettiger himself. However, the final game, as lovely a piece as it is, with tryouts being a nice piece too, they're not really my favorites. My favorite cue of this entire soundtrack, and by the way, this is just the baseline soundtrack released in '93, for Western Bond released the remastered expanded version in 2022, is actually to Notre Dame, the longest cue in this CD. It represents yearning and longing to be something bigger than yourself. So you ought to take a listen to the soundtrack for that piece alone. There are two main themes in this movie, and a masterful blend of both of them in the final game is what earned Jerry Goldsmith a standing O from the orchestra, which is quite a rare entity. However, it didn't earn him an Oscar nomination like his score for Hoosiers did, released in '86. That was the first outing between the three people we just mentioned. Angelo Pizzo, writer, David Anspaugh, director, Jerry Goldsmith, the Maestro. And a rather choice Maestro for Rudy. Considered one of the greatest college football movies and one of the best sports movies of all time, period. Right alongside Hoosiers, which many people say is the MVP in that lot. Yes, in the world of sports films, there are plenty of fumbles and plenty of touchdowns. Rudy is a touchdown, but Jerry Goldsmith's score? 4.5 out of 5 claps. All the same. If a performing arts ensemble can cheer for the sound of the underdog, there's no chance you too won't be rooting for Rudy. Thanks for watching. Here's what's coming up for Friday. There are many film festivals well known and underground across this country and around the world. But here at TSR, I hold a soft spot for the Sundance Film Festival of Sundance and Park City, Utah. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.